Hello people, I am Jaby Koay. I just woke up to the news that the directors of the standalone Han Solo Star Wars film, the film set to come out after Star Wars The Last Jedi, have been fired. And this really sucks for those guys. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they directed 21 Jump Street and the Lego Movie, if you guys are unfamiliar with them. This sucks for 3 reasons in particular. Number 1, it sucks just to be fired. If I've been fired, I know what that feels like. It's the worst. I'm sure all of you guys watching this have been fired at least once in your life. It's not a good feeling. Number 2, to be fired off of Star Wars. Can you imagine that? Getting Star Wars, a Star Wars movie, like that's a dream come true. And then to lose it, I feel for those guys. Number 3, to be fired off of Star Wars in London, where you relocated to with your families to do this project, and now it's all for nothing. It's not all for nothing. I'm sure there's a silver lining in there somewhere for the families who I'm sure must have enjoyed London. I mean, it's London, come on. London's a nice place, I've been there twice. The reason why they were fired is for creative differences. The writers, Lawrence Kasdan and his son John Kasdan, penned the script. Lawrence Kasdan was coming from a very different place. According to an inside source on the Hollywood Reporter article that I've got in front of me, people need to understand that Han Solo is not a comedic personality. He's sarcastic and selfish. And this totally makes sense. They were trying to make Han Solo more funny. It makes sense that they would try to make him more funny. This is Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. They did 21 Jump Street and the Lego Movie. They took 21 Jump Street, a show that was fairly serious, and turned it into a laugh-out-loud comedy. It makes sense that they would try to shift Han Solo towards a more funny direction. Lawrence Kasdan wasn't having it, and Kathleen Kennedy, arguably the most powerful woman in Hollywood, who runs Lucasfilm, decided to side with the writers, Lawrence Kasdan and John Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan is an old friend of hers, obviously, from working together with her for years, and so she sided with him and let go of the directors. And so now they're eyeing Ron Howard or Joe Johnston. If you're not familiar with Joe Johnston, he directed one of my favorite movies, October Sky, and he also directed The Rocketeer, a film I loved as a kid. But he also directed Jurassic Park 3, Hidalgo, Captain America, the First Avenger. These are films I didn't particularly enjoy. I actually didn't even see Hidalgo, so that's not fair, but I'm sure most of you haven't seen Hidalgo. If you're not familiar with Ron Howard, and I'm sure most of you are, he directed films like A Beautiful Mind, Apollo 13, Cinderella Man, Ransom, The Da Vinci Code, The Paper, Far and Away, Backdraft. He's directed a lot of stuff. He's got a huge track record of a lot of successful films. If it was up to me, I would probably go with Ron Howard because he's the safer bet. But I wanna know in the comments what you guys think. Who would you go with, Ron Howard or Joe Johnston? Between these two, or is there another director that you think would be better suited for this project? Please let me know in the comments. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about them being fired? I think that this is for the best. For those of you who don't know about what happened with Rogue One, there were reshoots like just 5 or 6 months before the release of Rogue One because Disney felt a lot of changes needed to be made. And that's really close to release date, 5 to 6 months. It's not a lot of time. So this is at least better that it's a 1.5 years out before release date. That gives more time, more cushion. Whoever steps in has to look at the footage that has been shot, analyze it, re-edit it, and then figure out what to do from there. That's a lot of work, that's a big responsibility, and that sounds like a lot of stress. I hope whoever takes over is comfortable with that and enjoys that because it doesn't sound fun. Or it could be a blast, who knows? And maybe it's fun to look at what's there and go, okay, and reorganize the pieces like a puzzle, and then go, all right, now here's what we're gonna do to meet Lawrence Kasdan's vision, and John Kasdan, his son. Ultimately, I think that this move was for the best because I think that the fans would have been really, really upset if Han Solo was turned into more of a jokey character rather than his selfish, sarcastic origins, which is very evident in Star Wars A New Hope. I mean, this is evident to even the most casual Star Wars fan that that's who Han Solo is, and he's not this jokey guy. So I'm actually glad that that directing team has been removed. It sucks for those guys, and I feel bad for them, but this is for the best based on the information being presented here by the Hollywood Reporter. I wanna know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think it's better that they were replaced, or were you really, really looking forward to what they were gonna bring to the table? Is there any other director in mind that you think would have been better for this project? Between Joe Johnston and Ron Howard, who would you vote for? Please let me know in the comments below. That's it for now. I am Jaby Koay. Peace out.